They ain't doing nothing here but leeching off for you and me. Well,
so good afternoon. My name is Quentin Mecchi. I'm here on behalf of Proposition G, which is an anti-speculation tax. I don't think I'd be giving you any new news if I was telling you that the city is clearly facing an affordability crisis and a housing crisis. In the last 5 years, we have lost around 1,700 units of rental housing, affecting about 5,000 tenants. Ellis Act evictions in the last 3 years are up 170%. Evictions overall are up 40% in the last 5 years. What we're dealing with specifically is, we would argue, real estate speculation. There's a lot of money in the city right now. It's driving up the cost of real estate. Median single-family home selling price is $1 million. TICs are $850. Condos are around $925, $950. Average San Franciscans are getting priced out of their homes. One particular vehicle that is being used is the state law, the Ellis Act, and we would argue is being abused. Earlier this year, State Senator Mark Leno put forth SB 1439, which was a bill to prohibit and restrict the use of the Ellis Act solely in the city and county of San Francisco. Big tent of support there. Mayor Lee, Board of Supervisors, Labor, Tech Community, SF City. The only people that were opposed to it were the realtors. That was the only listed opposition in a bill that had a wide range of support. And unfortunately, due to the ability to really spend a little money in Sacramento, it was defeated by fellow moderate Democrats, not from San Francisco, obviously, with the Bay Area. So the next iteration of that was left to the Board of Supervisors, housing organizations, other groups who came up with Proposition G. I'm sure some of you have heard the association with Supervisor Harvey Milk in the late 70s. This is not the same. We certainly make no bones about that. It was inspired, the idea, since real estate speculation was one of the things that actually drove the city to rent control in the late 70s. So this is a version of that, but not the same, and we certainly wouldn't lay claim to that. What this would do, very specifically, this is a real estate transfer tax. This would be imposed on the resale of a multi-unit apartment building within 5 years of purchase, not the sale, the resale of a building within 5 years of purchase. What we're finding, and the facts actually speak for themselves, is over half of all Ellis Act evictions in the last 5 years are enacted within the first 6 months to a year. That's how quickly the flipping is happening. People are buying rent-controlled properties, evicting the tenants, and then turning those into TICs. As far as housing policy, what the city had presumed was its main line of defense was incentivizing a little bit the process previously in the use of Ellis Act. And by that I mean, it used to be the case that if you wanted to have your TICs enter the condo conversion lottery, Ellis Act would damage your chances there, especially if you evicted a protected tenant. That being the case now, because of the amount of money and how hot the housing market is, no one actually cares about converting to condo. The money is actually being made on TICs. So that's essentially the issue. And so we would argue, one, we certainly can't prohibit real estate speculation. No one can. You just simply can't. It's going to be the nature of the beast. What we can do, though, is aggressively try and disincentivize negative market behavior. And that's exactly what this is. This is not a revenue-generating tax. This is solely based on the idea that we think that this market currently as it exists right now needs to be adjusted. We cannot talk about Prop K. We cannot talk about the housing balance measure. Cannot talk about what kind of affordable housing we hope to build in the future if we are gutting and poaching our rent-controlled stock. For every unit of rent-controlled housing that is lost, that is a permanent loss of affordable housing in the city. And that's actually what we need to protect. So that's the nuts and bolts of Proposition G. We're happy, as you've seen on the form there, from Senator Leno to the Democratic Party to the Labor Council. We're trying to build the same broad support that his bill had earlier this year.
Noticeably, Mayor Edley hasn't endorsed it.
And to be fair to the